Boom, boom. Goodbye, my Coney Island. Bow wow. Goodbye, my Coney Island. Meow. Goodbye, my Coney Island babe.
Our forebears, that is George C. Tillieu, who founded Steeplechase Park, Fred Thompson and Skip Dundee of Luna Park, and all the others who made Coney Island what it is. I do not wish to be a sentimentalist. I don't wish to romanticize it. Those folks were down there to make a good, clean American buck. George C. Tillieu ran a little newsletter called Tillieu's Real Estate Telephone. They were in the real estate business, make no mistake, but they were showmen. These were the people who founded and brought forth the American amusement industry. There would have been no Disneyland, no Disney World, no Six Flags without Steeplechase Park and Coney Island. We all know that is where the carousel was developed, where the roller coaster got its birth. And all of these things took place. That's fine. We live in an era where we've seen Coney Island in a kind of a slow death throw. Ever since the Second World War and the invention of air conditioning, Coney Island has not been what it might be. But we're all here to see that it can be that it might become what it can be again. I would just like to say, since we have an area that has so much potential and can go in many directions, that we are here to say we would love to see an amusement area. We would love to see hotels. We'd love to see restaurants. We'd love to see spectacles. We want to see sideshows. We want to see all the things that have made Coney Island what it means to people over its 150-year history. What we do not want to have happen is to have condominium development for the well-to-do, to have a great white sand south-facing beach as their own playground. Okay. When the folks with the large investment portfolios decide that farmland is charming, they build condos and housing developments, and then the next thing they want to do is kick the farmers out because it smells. They build condos and housing developments down where the jazz and music clubs are, and the next thing they want to do is get them shut down because it's noisy. And believe me, ladies and gentlemen, the same thing will happen in Coney Island. Some condos, who knows? What could it hurt? Except they will move in there, and the next thing you know, they're going to petition the city to get rid of the noise, the smell, whatever it may be, and what's left will be gone as well.
Yay for snow.
I will.
I am a performer and a teacher involved in an alternative and retrospective art, but it isn't how I earn my living. I love being able to do an experimental art, and I don't mind working an additional job in order to support something that isn't designed to turn a profit. And a lot of other artists don't mind doing that either. So I've had jobs in New York, including having been a real estate agent. And when I was doing real estate, friends of mine who didn't live in New York were constantly shocked when I told them the price of an apartment in Manhattan. And they would say, well, why don't people who can afford to pay that much for an apartment just buy a big house in the country? My response was always, they got a big house in the country and an apartment in Manhattan. And it looks like now they want to have a waterfront condo at Coney Island too. They just collect real estate. We're talking about a glass-walled storage space for people's furniture, basically. It's not that important of a project. It's not unique. It's not special. Coney Island is special. Coney Island is part of a tradition in New York City, and Coney Island is part of Brooklyn, part of the borough, part of New York City. And that's what I mean when I say New York City. Part of a tradition of offering a forum for alternative arts that are not demanded to return a profit. The project in Coney Island would promise to be supportive of those arts. There's leisure arts, there's community arts, there's performance arts, all these things that add to the quality of life that make New York unique enough to command these high prices. And that's exactly what they want to destroy. When I see that, it's like they give no credence to the spirit of the individuality that runs these things and the attraction that it has for people who may not want to devote all their time and effort to creating it, but they certainly want to see it, attend it, enjoy it, talk about it, photograph it. So it's a passionate interest to New Yorkers. And at one time I was talking to a city councilman about how important I felt this culture was, and he was saying, well, you know, we have the Met, we have Broadway, we don't really need you people. And basically he was saying, if it's not expensive, it doesn't really count. You know, if it hasn't been ordained by the government or by multi-million-dollar corporations, it doesn't really count. And, you know, that is not to say anything against these multi-million-dollar corporations. You know, there's advantages to some of their support, but they can't be the only thing. Everything cannot be part of a chain. New York will lose its unique appeal. And one of the things I think about when I look at these condos is like, man, they're going to have a lot of room in these condos because the people that work in the Starbucks in their neighborhood are going to have to live with them in order to be able to work at the Starbucks. Otherwise, they're going to have to live 2 counties away and bus in, and they'll just stay and work at the Starbucks in their own neighborhood. So my objection is not just the idea that they're willing to eliminate the leisure arts that Coney Island has historically supported, but that they're adding something that has no unique value. And I think that it denies the human spirit, and they really don't need it. And a lot of people say, well, you know, it'll improve the quality of life for the people that are already there. What are the odds of that happening? It only raises property values for people who do not live in the property that they own. It lessens the chances of people who actually live there to be able to afford to own real estate in the neighborhoods where they've lived all their lives. So that's my perspective on it, and as a performer, I don't want to see the performances go. As a person with some knowledge about how the real estate industry works, I'm certainly no expert, I don't see the advantage to that kind of development, especially in an area that is currently so unique, with so much promise, to become an even more attractive area to other New Yorkers and to the people that live there. I think the people that live there deserve the right to live in a beautiful, colorful area. Thank you.
I come to you today with sand in my shoes and salt. I'm still salty from the swim I took this morning. Stillwell Avenue and the boardwalk is the crossroads of the world. I don't want to get too dramatic, but many years ago, when I was in a predicament with many hundreds of thousands of other Americans in a place far off, very far away, I thought of 2 things. I thought of my beautiful wife, and I thought of Coney Island. I thought of Coney Island, Brooklyn, New York. Believe it or not, that got me through a very difficult time in my life. Why do people come to Coney Island? To taste the hot dogs and the French fries that they sell. Nathan's is there, and we love Nathan's, but I'm talking about the hot dogs and the French fries that they sell on the boardwalk. On the boardwalk in Coney Island. From the small people, from Stevie, from Gregory and Paul, from, of course, Lola's here with the souvenir shop. They come to Coney Island for the boardwalk. What else do they come to Coney Island for? Does anybody know where the Bowery is? All right, the Bowery, for those of you who know Coney Island, it's the Midway. They come there to watch the true pulse of Coney Island. The small game operators, come on in, come on over. Every game a winner, every winner a large size prize. You got to be in it to win it. It's the Derby horse race for first place. I've seen them there the last 30 years. They come for the pulse of Coney Island. Now, I'm not a politician. I have no tongue for it. But I will say this. Why can we not take the Coney Island of the past, the Virginia Reel, the Tornado, the bobsled, Raven Hall, the world's largest outdoor saltwater pool, bring it to where we are today in the present? There's a song called Coney Island Baby, and they talk about a real old-fashioned lady. Who's the real old-fashioned lady? Coney Island. Let that real old-fashioned lady and the past come to the future and get together and progress and keep the old Coney Island that we all know and love.
Coney rules!
To me, it's very, very simple. I don't know if I made any sense here today, but I want to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to talk to you. God bless America, and God bless Coney Island.
All right. Well, there's Miss Universe. There's Miss America. I would like to introduce you today to two spectacular beauties to whom you should pay strict and close attention. Two young ladies who do things for a living that you and I would not do for all the money in the world. I'd like to introduce you now to the Mrs. Coney Island and Cyclone.
Said, and this is American heritage we're talking about. And if there is no past, there is no future. You can't have a revolution. It should be an evolution. We're not opposed to condos, to people investing money in Coney Island, but it should develop for what it is.
I agree with everything that Miss Coney Island said, and I just think that I love Coney Island so much. I love everybody here so much. I love you guys for being here and getting this out to the world.
Coney!
Coney Island's got an amazing history, and we need to preserve its amazing future. And a luxury condo in the heart of the amusement district is not what people come from all around the world to see. So we need to preserve Coney Island, make it better, make it bigger. Everyone in the future deserves to have a chance to go to Coney Island, hang out at the top of that cyclone drop just once, and look at it that way.
Hi, New York. We're the Dazzle Dancers. And you can tell we're also a bunch of geeky artists, and we love Coney Island. We found our tribe there, but I also want to speak to you about my experience as a first-generation New Yorker, daughter of poor immigrants, and Coney Island was our resort. Coney Island is the resort of the poor and working families in New York City, and we need the city to advocate on our behalf. We have enough malls in the city, and what everybody said, we completely agree with. The reason that people move to New York is not to go to another Gap. So, Bloomberg, government of New York, stand by us, or you will lose the uniqueness and the flavor that New York City is known for.